I think with Tysonn in particular, he checked all the boxes. That when we go through our process and we wake up every day and we talk about, okay, is there a way to move our organization forward? What can we do to help the roster? And you guys know I've talked about that before. When you look at Tysonn, individually, young player still, skates well, a lot of talent, makes plays at top speed. You said it, he can kill penalties. He's young, but he's also 350 some games of NHL experience, so he's been through the league, he's been around. I think he's at a great age. And from the character standpoint, I had one person get back to me and said, elite human being, and you don't hear that stuff that glowing. So all of that being said, just felt like this was an opportunity to bring talent into our organization. And maybe for him, it's a kind of an opportunity to just free up and play. And sometimes that's all it takes, because the talent and all of that's there. So now we'll just see where we go from here.
Is his presence, does that mean there's Zemgus or Kyle might be sidelined a little longer than you expected?
No, to be honest, no, not at all. In fact, we got good news on Zemgus this morning. So it really didn't have anything to do with it. Oh, we talk every day about we don't want to make a short-term move or decision that could end up, setting us back long-term. So we look at all these things, but we just felt like this was an example of for us, the opportunity to take I don't want to say take a chance. It's just adding talent into the organization without, disrupting, anything from a long-term standpoint. And that's why we made the move.
When you talk about not doing something short-term, I think of the last 28 games last year, the first 10 this year is not a small sample size.
Right.
But now you've lost 8 in a row. What's the balance in doing something more short-term and trying to get your team out of this?
Yeah, it's a great question, Mike. I think you can start with the defense that we've had out in particular. All of us have been around the league a long time and know it's gonna have consequences when you take the talent and the players that we've had out of the lineup. So we've looked at every possible way to support our group in the back end, but knowing what the timeline was of those types of injuries, and I didn't want to overreact, do something reactive or emotional that gets us away from our plan and how we're building this. And so I guess the other part of the answer to that is we very purposeful and specific how we were building the roster this year, knowing that we're going to be extremely young and you're going to go through ups and downs, and we're well aware of that. I'm calm right now, and I think calm is very important in these types of things, but I'm not comfortable. You can check my sleep habits lately. I'm not comfortable at all, and I'm wanting to make sure that we have a calmness about this and know that these experiences are exactly what our players, will help them grow and learn and get better. But everything we do every day is talking about how you win hockey games and you develop your team and your players. It's kind of, so on one hand, this is part of what you have to go through. But on the other hand, we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get better and win hockey games.
Are you shocked? I don't think there was any thought you might be 29th in the league at Thanksgiving.
No, yeah. I guess the way I would answer that is, you guys all know that we've played well at different times this year. We had a good start. And when you look at this particular losing streak, I think you can go back to Carolina game, Tampa game, and the Boston game against top teams in the league where there were a lot of points in those games where we were playing very well and had an opportunity to win, and we lost by making mistakes at critical times or the inexperience that you sometimes have with a young team. Now, there's other games that absolutely have nothing to do with inexperience or youth. It was that the details of our game weren't good enough. Our passion, our compete need to be better, and that's what certainly is being addressed by Donnie and myself every day. So, but you put it all together, and it's where we're at right now. And you can't run, you can't hide from it, and that's why I say I'm calm, and I think calm is contagious in a way that the players know that we believe in them and support them, and we're not changing course here. Nobody's going to come in here and say that this is good enough right now, because it's not. But we do know that this is part of the process of where we're at as we build this.
Can you circle back on Zemgus and Kyle for us? You said you got good news on Zemgus. What does that translate to?
Yeah, and I think there's in all likelihood, he'd be in the lineup tomorrow night. So that's positive. And Kyle actually did well today. He skated and much better than he was a few days ago. So I think they're trending in the right way there. And it's more days than weeks now for Kyle. So that's the good news there. But everybody deals with these things, and that was one other thing I probably should mention. Not just injuries in general, but you take guys like Kyle and Zemgus and Comrie and his experience out of the lineup. Not as much experience with comms, but age. It does matter, in the details, even your practices, and so. We'll be looking forward to getting those guys back.
Tell me a little bit about the call-ups. When you called up York and Sheehan, you really got nothing from them. You were looking for somebody to give a spark. What was the decision, the kind of veteran NHL guys, as opposed to one of the younger guys in Rochester, to give you some spark?
Yeah, I think you balance that, Mike. We have a lot of talent in Rochester, as you guys know, and for sure there's guys that are capable of coming up and providing maybe a spark, but we also balance what's best for them and their development path, and looking at where they're at right now. Those guys are really doing a nice job, some of those forwards, at really young ages in that league, and you don't want to be disruptive of that either. Kind of want them just to be present and stay the course. So that was kind of probably a lot of the mindset.
And that would be a short-term play, too.
Exactly. And we want to make sure we're always thinking about these guys, not just today, but into the future.
Going hand in hand with that, did you almost get too young too fast? You got a quarter of your roster, 4 guys who are trying to find their way in the NHL, who, quite honestly, probably are going to be good players in the National Hockey League, but they're finding their way right now. I mean, as you look back, did you maybe miscalculate a little bit and got too young too fast?
Well, I guess the way I would answer that is, you guys know, in the off season, you can go out there and sign 3 or 4. I don't know what the right word to say, but guys that have been in the league and are older and maybe just give you a little more experience or stability. But what we're really working towards here is sustainable success, not just a flash of a week here, a month here. Sustainable success, and we all believe that the way we're going to have sustainable success is to have our young core go through these things. And so, of course, Paul, there's a balance, and you think about that. But I still do believe that when we look at our young players and you look at the experiences they're going through and the development that they're going through, it's never a straight line up. But they need to go through this. And then the other side is, you're right. Like, we're young, but then you also take Oki and Zemgus and these guys out of the lineup, and then you even get younger. And just in terms of just the natural presence in the locker room. So. We're committed to how we're going to build this and for sustainable success, and we're not gonna panic or change.
Do you feel like Tage and Rasmus are almost stepping into those veteran roles, trying to set a tone?
Yeah, I mean, they've been, for me, the presence, and I guess that's yes. The answer is yes. But I guess what I would also say to that is, I'm not sure a year ago anybody thought, okay, 12 months down the road, the maturity that both those players have shown on and off the ice, part of the reason they've gotten there is because of what they've gone through. And that's a little bit of my point. When you have young players, I do believe Jack Quinn and Peterka and, start going down the list, they are going to be better players 12 months from now. And that's our goal. And by some of the reason of that is because kind of what they're dealing with right now.
As far as Kyle goes, was this the first time he skated, or has he been skating, I guess?
Today was he was on the ice for just a real light a couple days ago, but today was his first start to push it a little harder. Felt really good, and so I think that's a positive, and we'll progress him here through the week, but hopefully it's sooner rather than later.